The BF Bot Manager is the perfect bot to use with horse racing and greyhound betting strategies. There are many customizable functions and rules that you can use to create the system you want. In the market grid view, we can see the sport, the date, and the start time. We can also easily see if the market is in play or not. Green means the market is in play, orange means the market is not in play yet but is going to go in play, and grey means that the market is not in play yet and it will not go in play. If we click on the I button, we can see detailed information about the market as provided by Betfair, such as if the market is a Betfair starting price market, what the base rate is, and we can quickly see other details too. If we click the video icon, it will take us to a Betfair live feed if it is available. Then we can see the event's name. You can easily adjust the width of the columns by clicking on the column's header so that you can see all of the name. Or you can hover over a cell to see the full text if it's longer than the cell. If you click on an event name, it will open up that Betfair market in a browser, like this. The next column tells us the race status. There are 15 race statuses, but not all of them will be shown for each race. The information comes from Betfair, so it depends on their data sources: dormant, delayed, parading, going down, going behind, and so on. The next 4 columns, live score, time, weather, and match preview, are for football-related data. If you only need racing information, you can remove these columns by right-clicking the header and clicking Hide this column. This will free up more space later on if we want to add more racing-related columns. The My Selections column shows if we have selected any runners in this market manually. Any runners you select manually by clicking on the My S Selections box will appear here, so you know that you have manually selected something. The manually selected My Selections can be set to be bet on according to the settings you have in the My Selection strategy. Or they can be exported as a selection set and applied to multiple strategies. The first favorite column tells us the current runner with the lowest odds. If we right-click on any column header and select column chooser, we can add second favorite and third favorite columns. We can then click and drag those to the position we want in this view. Then we can easily see the first, second, and third favorites. This favorite information only appears for markets that are actively being monitored. If the start time column is yellow, it means that it is being monitored. The bot is set to monitor markets a few minutes before the start time, but you can change that in the Tools and Settings tab, in the Monitoring Sections area. Here, the time to start monitoring markets before start time is set at 10 minutes by default. In most cases, you will not need to change those settings, but if you decide to place bets early or need to monitor a large number of markets in advance, then it's possible to change the settings here. You can read more about monitoring markets on the BF Bot Manager website. The next column tells us the winner of a race. The next column tells us the overall market profit or loss. This next column tells us if the market has had any bets placed on it. If the market has had any bets placed on it, it will go dark green in the background. If we click on the icon, it will open up the bets view so that we can see what bets have been placed. Next, we can see the backbook percentage, the laybook percentage, and the total amount of money matched on this market. All of these are good indicators of how developed the market is. By right-clicking on any column header and selecting column chooser, we can add more racing-related columns. For example, NOR, number of runners, race type, venue. Number of runners tells us at a glance how many horses or greyhounds there are in the event. The race type can tell us if it's flat, or hurdles, or a chase. And the venue column can tell us where the race is taking place. You can adjust the width by moving the columns. If we click on this icon, we can open the Selections grid view. This will give us more detailed information at a glance for each event. The first column is a checkbox to add a runner to your manual selections. The bar chart icon will open the market information, price volume over time chart as provided by Betfair. Next, we can see the runner silks. This is useful if you can follow the race live and want to quickly know the shirt color of a jockey or dog. Next, we see the runner number and name. The next column is the form, with the most recent form on the right. So 77x47 means that this horse finished 7th in their last outing. If we hover over one, we can get more detailed information on a runner. Next, we see the jockey and trainer. The next column is a ladder icon. Clicking this opens up the ladder format betting window on the right. This allows quick trading and one-click betting on a runner. Note that each ladder icon opens a window for that runner only. If you want to bet on a different runner, you need to click on the ladder button for that runner. And you can see how the name changes here, so you know which runner you are betting on with this ladder. The If Hedge Now column gives you an indication of what trade-out profit or loss would result from exiting this position at the currently available odds, to get an equal profit or loss result regardless of the event winner. It can be thought of as similar to the cash out feature on Betfair. The hedge button next to it would execute that instruction. The matched column tells us how much we have matched on this runner. The status column tells us if a runner is a winner, loser, active, removed, and so on. For the finished races, we can see here was the winner and the others were losers. The chance column converts the available odds to a percentage probability of it winning. The back offer is the currently available back odds. The BSP is the Betfair start price if it is available. It is usually displayed after the event has started. LPM means last price matched, so we can see what the last bet taken was. The lay offer is the current lay odds being offered. We can also add more columns by right-clicking on any column header and selecting Column Chooser. Here, we can add a second back offer, second lay offer, third back offer, third lay offer if we wanted, and then we can see information in the same way that we see on the Betfair website, the first, second and third back offers and the first, second and third lay offers. We can also add information such as the age for the horse, the days since last run, its official rating, its reduction factor, its weight, Betfair fair price, Betfair near price, if available. In the Strategies tab, if we click on the Add Rule button, in the Market Conditions area, we can see there are many racing-specific conditions. The racing rules all have a racing icon next to them. Of course, other general settings can be used to make strategies too. There are many racing conditions in the Market Conditions area and the Selection Conditions area that we can add to our strategies. Here we can focus on different aspects such as class filter, going conditions, race distance, in-play time, reduction factor, days since last run, race status, the race type, removed runners, venues filter, skipping if there's a reserve or removed runner, betting after the X favourite wins or loses, clear favourites, skipping if a favourite difference is not satisfied. These three do not have a racing icon next to them, but are very useful when making racing strategies. From selection conditions, we can choose horses by specific information, such as being a beaten favourite, winning at this course, winning over this distance, or winning over this course and distance. Filtering horses by more detailed information, such as jockey name, or checking and comparing prices in the win and place market. Let's take a closer look at each rule. First, market conditions, class filter. This rule allows or disallows betting on races with selected class information, from class 1 to 7, or not specified. You can tell it to allow or disallow betting based on this information. Note that the information used by this rule is provided by a third-party service and might not be available or accurate all the time. Next, racing, going, track condition filter. This rule allows or disallows betting on races with specific going conditions, such as fast, firm, good to firm, good to soft, and so on. For example, if you wanted to back the favourite, but only when the going was good to firm, then this rule could be used. Or in another strategy, if you could lay the favourite when the going was muddy, then you could use this rule. This information is also provided by a third-party service. Next, racing min-max race distance. This rule allows betting by the strategy when the race distance is within the set range. The distance is taken from the win market text. This rule is set using meters, but there is a useful miles furlongs to meters converter to quickly check race lengths. Next, racing race in play time. This rule allows betting by race duration and past in play time. You can set the strategy to bet on a percentage of the estimated race duration at the beginning or at the end of the race. The race duration is estimated by using race length and average time per 100 meters. The default is 6 seconds, but you can change that if you want. So if you wanted to back the current favorite in the estimated last 20% of the race, you could do that using this rule. Next, racing, race status. With this rule, it allows you betting during the specified race status, such as parade ring, going down, going behind, and so on. This is the same race status value displayed on the market grid view. It is usually available for UK and Irish horse and greyhound races and is provided by the Betfair NG API. The race status values are updated once per second starting 5 minutes before race start until race ends. Next, racing, race type filter. This allows or disallows betting on the specified race types. For example, if you do not want the strategy to bet on harness and chase events, then you could use this rule. Next, racing removed runners. This rule tells the strategy to skip a market based on removed runner information. It can tell the bot to skip a market if there is a removed runner with a reduction factor greater or less than a specified amount. It can also tell the bot to skip a market if there's no removed runner with reduction factor greater or less than a specified amount. It can also skip a market based on the total reduction factor. Next, racing venues filter. This rule allows or disallows betting on specified courses. You choose the courses you want to add to your rule, or you can manually add course names too. This list is taken from the currently available venues on Betfair. It's a dynamic name list that changes depending on what events are active at the time. You can also add venue names manually, but make sure that the names match the Betfair venue name exactly. Next, greyhounds. Skip race if there is a reserve or removed runner. This is a greyhound specific rule that tells the strategy to skip a race if there's a reserve runner, or to allow only if there's a reserve runner at the race, or to do the above logic if there's a removed runner. For example, if you want a strategy to skip markets with a reserve runner, then this rule can be used. Also, there are some conditions that don't have the racing icon next to them, but are very useful when making racing strategies. One of these is bet after X favorite runner wins or losses. This rule tells the strategy to bet only after a specified number of favorite wins or losses. For example, if you want your strategy to only bet after the favorite has lost more than 3 races or more, then we can set the rule to bet when the first favorite by position losses are greater than or equal to 3. If we also want the strategy to only count flat races of 6 furlongs or more, then we can add conditions to the way this rule will count races. By selecting here, we can choose min-max race distance, add this rule, make a quick check of what 6 furlongs is in meters, save that, and also I only want to count flat races. In this way you can tell the strategy what kind of races you want it to count. We can also change the rule to use runner by position to count wins and losses by clicking this checkbox. For example, if you only wanted the strategy to allow betting when Trap 1 has lost their last 6 races, then this rule could be used with this checkbox ticked. Runner by position means the order in which the runners are listed, not by their odds order. Next, clear favourites. This rule allows or disallows betting on a market when there is or isn't a clear favourite. The clear favourite definition by default is the difference of 15% between the first and second favourite chance of winning, but this can be adjusted. For example, if the first favourite has odds of 2, which means a 50% chance of winning, then the second favourite would need a win probability of 35% or worse, 50 minus 15%, which translates to odds of 2.86 or more to trigger this event as being classified as having a clear favourite. So, if we only want a strategy to back favourites in races where there is a clear favourite, then this rule can be used. Or, if you're laying favourites but want to avoid races with clear favourites, then this rule can be used there too. Another useful rule is skip if favourite difference is not satisfied. This rule tells the strategy to skip a market if the difference in price between the X and Y favourite position is not satisfied. For example, if you want to skip the market if the gap between the first and second favourite odds is outside a certain range. The value used as the price can be set to be taken from the back price, lay price, last traded price, and so on. You can set an absolute odds range or a percentage. If we set it to skip the market if the back price of the favourite by position 1 is less than the back price of the favourite by position 2 by 1.5, this would mean that if the first favourite had odds of 3.4, then the second favourite would need odds of 4.9 or more for this rule to prevent betting on that market. Next, let's look at selection conditions for racing. Again, we can see racing icons next to the selections conditions. Racing, bet type by reduction factor. This is a bet type for racing only. Each strategy only needs one bet type to tell the strategy to bet. So if this bet type is used, then another bet type is not needed. This bet type tells the bot to place back or lay bets when the reduction value and the chance value of that selection are in a certain range. For example, when the reduction factor is less than the selection chance value by 5%. And this can be switched around as well. Next, racing. Days since last run. Horses. This rule allows betting on horses who have had their last run in a specified period. For example, if you only want the strategy to allow betting on horses who have run in the last 30 days, less than 30 days, then this rule can be used. Alternately, if you want the strategy to allow betting on horses who have not run in the last 50 days, then this rule can be used. Next, racing. Filter horses by BFC, D and CD. This rule allows or disallows betting on horses that are beaten favourites, course winners, distance winners, or have won over course and distance. So, if you only wanted to back favourites that have won on this course and this distance before, you can use this rule. The information by this rule is not provided by the Betting Exchange API, so there's no guarantee that the information will be 100% accurate or available. Next, filter horses by detailed information. This rule allows or disallows betting on a selection if specific details are found. Here you can set very specific rules, such as the age of the horse, the form, the jockey, trainer or owner name, and so on. You can add multiple instances of this rule to one strategy to create a very specific set of filters. For example, if you wanted to set a strategy to only bet on horses who won their last race, then you would select Allow Betting on horses whose form is one of the values below, and enter 1 and click on Ends, meaning that the most recent result was a win. Or if you want to back horses ridden by specific jockeys, then you can enter the jockey names separated by commas and check the Contains box. Next, racing runner at win place market favorite price rules. This rule allows the strategy to check the runner price in the win or place market is within a certain range. The price being checked can be selected from the back price, lay price, last traded price, and so on. This allows the strategy to check the place market price before it places a win market bet, or it can do the opposite. It can check the win market price before it makes a place market bet. You can also set it to check the prices before in play. It can also be set to make sure the runner has the same favorite position on the win and place market. So for example, if you wanted to bet on the current favorite horse in play near the end of the race, but only if it has odds under 3 before the off, then this selection condition rule could be used in combination with the market condition rule racing race in play time to achieve that. So this would only allow betting if the runner's back price at the win market is in price range 1.01 to 3, and that's checking the price before in play. So in summary, the BF Bot Manager version 3 has many useful racing specific conditions, which can be used in combination with other general betting conditions to make the strategy that you want. Please note that these racing conditions must be used together with other strategy rules, such as market conditions, events filters, and importantly needs a bet type condition to tell the strategy what kind of bet to place. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us and we will do our best to help you. Thank you.